cybersecurity expert and an advocate for girls in STEM. Welcome to the show, Ruth.
Thank you.
And also,
I'm excited to be here.
Yes, always delighted to have you on. We're also expecting to hear from Shikelola Olaifa. She's a tech enthusiast who changed careers from consulting to ICT. So I'm very curious about her own angle. I know someone else who has done it, before. But I also have in the studio, I typed Deborah. I don't know how the thing I'm seeing all consonants here. So I also have Deborah in the studio this afternoon. She will call herself a tech enthusiast as well, even though she's studying mass communication. So it's a roundtable in-house today, and we're just going to dive in feet first. So my first question is going to go to Ruth, because while I was preparing for this, something occurred to me, but let me just go straight on and ask you the question. Ruth, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so for young women and girls to thrive in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which is what STEM stands for, STEM careers, they need to acquire skills to become both ICT users and creators in the digital world, right? So I want to ask, has access to technology improved for girls in Nigeria? What are some of the challenges they still face in terms of accessing technology?
Okay, thank you very much. I feel so excited to be here.
Yeah.
Whenever I get an opportunity to talk about women, girls, especially talking about science, innovation, technology, it's always a privilege for me, and I feel so honored.
Yes.
I have been advocating for women and girls in STEM for the past 2 years now, or even more. And I can boldly tell you that there's an increase in terms of women accessing knowledge when it comes to IT.
Yes.
Because we are not where we were 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
2 years ago, I can boldly tell you that we don't have the confidence to have this kind of conversation, engaging the government and relevant stakeholders when it comes to conversation around women and STEMs, women and ICT. But today we are confidently having this conversation because some level of improvement has been done, some work has been done, and then we've been able to empower ourselves to the point that we challenge the status quo. Well, I can say there's improvement, but not the way we want it at this point. That's why we are not relenting in advocating for more women involvement in STEM. And some of the challenges that has actually kept us backward is the fact that we still experience the gender stereotypes. They still tell you certain kind of subjects, certain kind of courses, certain kind of skills are supposed to be reserved for the men.
Men, yes.
I've always tell people my story when I get an opportunity to talk about this, because I have been victimized by the same system that told me and a couple of young women in the village where I grew up that science was too hard for the female brain to comprehend. This teacher in my junior high school told me, and some of the girls who were in my class then, we had just few girls then, that the brain of the female gender cannot understand the complexity in mathematics, further math, chemistry, and so all of us, because we were not experienced and naive, had to move to art and social science. And in as much as this thing happened to me more than 10 years ago, I still see it repeating itself in high schools, especially in rural communities. So there's still gender stereotypes when it comes to access to the knowledge of science and technology.
Thank you.
And not just these gender stereotypes, we're still living in a male-dominated culture. That's why we can still tell you that we have just 28% of women in the STEM workforce globally. So it's a challenge, but then we're making progress.
That's the word. You know, every time I have a conversation about women inclusion, women, thus far, what the progress women have made, to bridge the equity gap, I often refer to the United Nations Secretary General's message for Women's Day, where he said it to take that, progress has been made, but it to take 300 years for us to get the kind of level. But we women were saying, no, we are not. So I like that you said we are not relenting. Deborah, you want to add something? Please go right ahead. You want to say something? Okay, so you agree with what Ruth has said. So thus far we have made excellent progress, and I'm proud of it. I wish I could code. When I see 9-year-olds, I'm so proud. I'm so happy. And we've been consistent in the last 10 years with women's education. You know how they're not involving us in politics or in all things, but women have been intentional.
Yes.
Educating women, empowering women. So I know a time is coming where they will defer back to, we would have taken up all the best places, really. So this ICT, I remember in 2018 or thereabout, I was in the Lorient at the time, and they came up with Django Girls. I was wondering, okay, I know Django the movie, as in DJAN.
Yeah.
So it's a girls who code. So my own brain has progressed, but I have no idea. Whenever I see them coding, I really have no idea what is going on. So I want to ask, education and training, what initiatives are in place to encourage girls in Nigeria? Like that Django Girls I gave examples of. I don't know, has it died down? Do we have, because these days when you go to schools, you see, there's IT coding. They're focusing on the robotics class. You already see, maybe you find one girl among 10 boys. Are there other specific programs that are targeting girls in particular for opportunities like this?
Okay, is this question for me?
Yes, please go on, Ruth. Sorry, apologies. Yes, it's you. Sorry about that.
Okay, so thank you very much. I think women have actually been supporting women when it comes to women empowerment in the tech space.
Yes,
women has been empowering women. Well, I started my cybersecurity journey learning cyber on my own when I discovered, okay, I can actually do this. But then something happened to me 2 years ago. There's this fellowship we call Cyber Girls Fellowship. It's actually an initiative of an organization called Cyber Safe Foundation. They are in Lagos.
Okay.
I think as at now, Cyber Safe Foundation, through their Cyber Girls Fellowship and also another fellowship they call Digi Girls, has empowered thousands of women with tech skills.
Across Nigeria or across the world?
Across Africa.
Across Africa, okay.
Cyber Girls Fellowship is currently running now, and they started with just Nigeria.
Wow.
Last year, the cohort I was part of, we had about 7 different African countries. And the 2023 cohort have over 20-something African countries. So they are very deliberate about empowering women, empowering African women, Nigerian women when it comes to technology skills. And this is not just about Cyber Safe Foundation. I know about other organizations. I belong to quite a number of communities that has been working relentlessly to empower women in the tech space. Quite a number of them. Like the Women Tech Stars Fellowship is an initiative of an organization also based in Lagos. They do quite a number of interesting fellowships that empower women with some of the in-demand tech skills, current in-demand technology skills. So,
because the area seems to be evolving. One day you are hearing of AI, the next in ChatGPT is everywhere. But please go on, Ruth.
Absolutely. So that's why it's important that as the world evolves, as IT evolves, women need to keep evolving.
As well.
Like in my own space, it's not actually a space that you sleep over skills.
No.
I always tell people that technology, innovation is actually that space that gender is not really a factor like that, because it
shouldn't matter.
Skills and competence, right?
Yes.
So if you are a competent person, if you have the needed skills, issues of gender are not always serious issues. Like
it should not matter.
It should issues because you have what it takes to deliver on the task.
Yes.
So that's why we need to lay emphasis on women acquiring the skills, because that's one way to bridge this gender gap.
Yes. So I often like to do this analysis because Perspectives is a women's platform. And I often like to say that the brain of a woman is not different physically from the brain of a man. And so if you have a male, I think it's even more glaring now in this ICT world that it's skill based. It's what you can do, how fast you can learn. So I want to take you back a few steps. So you were an art student in secondary, in high school?
Yes.
So you were
I
an
did social
accident.
science.
Yes. So how did you switch over to cybersecurity? How did you do that? Because someone is listening right now, and the person heard you say clearly that science. A lot of us, it was drummed into our head that science subjects are difficult for girls. How did you do it? Yeah. So how did you move from doing literature in English to doing what's the other one, geography? How did you move to? Is tech science based? Is there some physics or chemistry involved? Could you break it down?
Okay, so when you talk about, let's talk about STEM now.
Yes.
STEM talks about science, technology,
engineering, and mathematics. The big scary mathematics.
The big scary mathematics.
Yes.
I wasn't afraid of math, but because of that belief, like I explained earlier, that I was made to believe that this thing is too hard for me to understand. So I had to go for the one that wasn't very complicated, which of course it was a lie.
Yeah.
And I see that people still tell people this kind of glaring lies.
Yeah.
But then when I switched, I wanted to do medicine initially, but with this kind of controversial, this is hard, that is hard, I had to move to art. Yeah. I did literature in English, and my focus shifted to studying law. So when I
can you imagine? But please go on.
So after secondary school, I developed passion because I discovered that this thing can be developed. I said, okay, let me just do law, because law seems to be very, like, it's a
challenging.
So for the noble aspect of it, let me go for law.
Yeah.
But then it was difficult for me to get admission to study law at the university. So I went to do diploma in law at the Polytechnic here in Jos.
Okay.
And after doing diploma in law, it was still challenging for me to get law at the university. So I applied for law, but then I was given sociology.
This is our usual way. I applied for law. I ended up in English. I applied for law. I ended up in sociology.
So they gave me sociology.
Yes.
But then I had interest in criminology, because when I was doing diploma in law, I had the opportunity of taking an elective course about something about criminals and all of that. So I was like, okay, since criminology was relatively new at the university, then I applied for a change of course to study criminology. And I was given criminology and security studies. So whilst doing criminology, I took an elective course that is relating to cybersecurity, because since we were doing security studies, cybersecurity was not out of it. So it was at the point of learning about cybersecurity that I developed interest. And my interest was just to understand how best the cyber world works. I wasn't even interested about doing it technically. Yes, so it was even when I graduated that I discovered, this thing is a profession. People are building
actually exactly.
So
you're one of two people. You're one of two people. Yeah. My very good friend has a PhD in criminology. She finished, she lectures in the University of Ilorin, and she just went for her PhD. So I often wonder, I said, of all courses you could have picked in Nigeria, why did you go for criminology? So you will see her watching CSI New York, all this forensic. I said, what are you doing? You understand? So you're the second person I've heard here in Nigeria who studied criminology. So I'm rooting for you, criminology, I beg your pardon. And then you have branched out of that to focus on cybersecurity. So I'm really happy for you, because it's like, this is your era. The tech space is relatively new, growing, and so I'm very happy. But I want to ask you, did you so along this line, while you branched to cyber, did you have mentors? How many women do you know, people that here in Nigeria? Because I hear representation in tech, it matters a lot. I think in any field, really. Do you have mentors, success stories of people who you look up to in this field?
Absolutely. We have quite a number of them.
Okay.
The only problem for a lot of people is that they don't look out for people who are expert in their field.
Okay.
I have been consistent with LinkedIn for the past 2 years, and most of the people that are currently mentoring me, or people I am looking up to in the cybersecurity space, are people I met through my social interaction on social media.
Yeah.
And we have the the woman that got the Cybersecurity Woman of the Year in Africa is the founder of this Cyber Safe Foundation I'm telling you about. So she has been doing.
Is that main one? Something Opeke? Is that no? That's not.
No, confidence stably.
Confident. Oh yes. You know. Yeah. Okay, go on. Don't let me interrupt you. Go on.
She has consistently won the Cybersecurity Woman of the Year. I think since from 2021 and 2022. So these are Nigerian women, and they are doing very well in this space. So some of us who are just coming up are looking up to them.
Yeah.
And for the fact that they have been able to break glass ceilings and achieve such a tremendous achievement, most times when I look at them, I'll tell myself, this thing is achievable. So they are mentors, unless you're not willing to search for them. You're not willing to submit to learning.
Yeah, so they're few and far between. Obviously, every time back in the past, I only heard of the confidence recently. Before, the person we used to hear of was is it Ronke Okpeke, the woman that owns Main One? She's the only person that was in the Main One.
Yeah,
is it? I'm trying to remember. I don't want to go and say something. I don't know how to describe this. Main One is anyway. She's the only one, and then of course the minister of what they call it, the communications at the time, Mrs. Mobola Johnson. Other than that, we didn't really, we didn't really hear of what they call it. We didn't really hear about women in that space. So I can imagine, you know, pretty much like what we said when we started off, that it's challenging. But lots of progress has been made, and a lot of these women, I like that they are opening the door. You know, they look back and they're giving.
The door.
Yes, they're giving back. So we're not pushing up against the door; is already open. So it's just like you said, if you find the right information, you know, you build up on it and run with that. So if you've just tuned in, you're listening to Perspectives here on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. And today is the International Day for Girls in ICT. And I'm talking to really cool as ice ladies here. I have a cybersecurity. See that? By the way, I have never met Ruth. I actually found her on Facebook a few months ago. Yes, it was a lady that referred. I don't know how I stumbled into the post. I just wanted to talk to someone on data privacy. I think that was the first episode we had on. Right, Ruth? Yeah. Yes. And so I've never met her before. So, but you see how Facebook is tech, or whether you like it or not. Tech, yes. So it has, brought. Honestly, I think it has made the world a really small place.
A very small place.
Yes. Do you have any experiences in that area? So
yes.
Deborah is speaking now. Please go on, Deborah.
I actually have met a lot of people online that I have never physically met
before.
In fact, I will tell you that my best friend and we've been best friends for almost 10, 11 years now.
And you met him?
And I haven't met him.
Oh my goodness.
We finished just one together, yes.
Okay.
But then I haven't seen him for like 10 years.
Yes.
But we've kept in contact. We've kept talking. So it's quite interesting because even though I haven't seen him for such a long time, I'm still in contact. I have connection and those kind of things. And I've also met someone once through an anime festival like that was happening, I think 2 years ago. And I met him through a friend and we've just been talking. We only recently met on my birthday. So.
Oh, okay, cool. So, but you're studying mass communication.
Yes.
How come you're interested in STEM? I mean, there's no maths in mass communication, right?
I know. Go on. Because I will say I'm more into STEAM than STEM.
What does that mean?
STEAM has art in it.
Okay.
So basically you have art, people who are in art are also involved in technology. Because under all these things, you also have graphic artists, fashion illustrators. So people who are interested in art are also using technology.
Yeah.
Because me that I like art, for instance, I'm a voice actor. So I like to play with technology, switching voices, changing things. I'm interested in technology a lot because it also gives rooms for creativity. If I want to change things, I can use technology.
All right. Absolutely. Okay, you lost me at STEAM and STEM, and I can't draw to save my life.
STEM has science, technology, engineering, and maths. Yeah. So you have STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math.
Math.
Yeah. So
and you're studying mass comm.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So you see, that's why you should listen to Perspectives. There's always a new angle to the show. If you like to ask questions whatsoever, you can leave us us a message on 0818 22 22 206, 0818 22 22 205. Today is International Day for Girls in ICT, and I like the theme for this year. It's digital skills for life. As in, we already established that these skills, things are always changing. It's evolving. So it means for the rest of your life, this is the new place to be in. It's the new cool.
Yeah.
It's the, I like that also, that most girls are not going to study the typical, I'm going to study medicine just for it alone. I like what Ruth said about, doing a course in cyber security, in criminology, and then there's cyber, was added to it.
Yeah.
So I wish we could upgrade our curriculum in Nigeria to do that. Don't just read one course directly, because I studied history, but I ended up in philosophy class because you have to take some courses in law.
Yeah.
I like that. So I wish we could upgrade our curriculum to reflect the new reality.
Yeah.
So I want to go to the next thing about entrepreneurship. I think that's the next big space for ICT. I woke up this morning, the only words on my head was NFT, EFT. I still don't know all the EFT. So I want to ask Ruth, how are girls in Nigeria using technology to start their own businesses and to create opportunity for themselves? How can you be your boss of yourself in the tech space?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's an exciting conversation.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any field in this world that you can't leverage technology to add an extra to the ordinary.
Yeah.
It's always ordinary, but technology helps you to innovate and add that little extra that you can get just acting normal.
Yeah.
So in entrepreneurship, most times when I see young women still doing their businesses locally, I'll be like, they don't know what the world is saying.
Yeah.
There's actually every form of innovation and technology that you can leverage on to build your business and excel more than the way you will if you were just doing it in an ordinary way.
Yeah.
And one of the things is the fact that this technology has brought people closer to us than we can imagine.
Yeah.
True.
So just imagine that you have a business that is not locally based.
True.
Technology helps you to connect with people globally. It helps you to sell ideas that on a normal day you are supposed to. For instance, if you're selling an idea, like you're selling a service that is idea based, on a normal day you're supposed to put it in print, take it to stores, and get people who will be interested to see what is in print and go through it before they purchase.
Yes.
The technology is making it easier for you to just sell your ideas using every form of platform that is available without necessarily spending more to put it in print.
True.
So technology has given us the opportunity to connect to the world and not relate with the world in our local space.
Absolutely.
So you can be doing things in your space, but then you have an audience. You have a global audience you can sell your products to. So there's nothing more important, more exciting than when you infuse technology in whatsoever kind of business you are doing. So just few days ago, I think it was on Tuesday, today is Thursday, 2 days ago, I attended a stakeholders meeting about the adoption of the Startup Act in Plateau State. It has already been signed into, it's an act already at the national level. So states are trying to domesticate that now. So just imagine that we have a Startup Act that helps you fund your startup ideas, and you are still doing things locally. That means you won't even have a place. You won't even have the opportunity to take advantage of some of these things that the government is putting together to help you provide all that you need in order to succeed in your ideas.
Fantastic.
So young women can leverage technology in everything. You just have to think outside the box. You have to be innovative enough to look for the kind of resources, the kind of software, the kind of information that can help you stay ahead of your competitors. If all your competitors are doing it the local way, bringing technology will give you an edge.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ruth. You know, just this morning, I saw on a friend's WhatsApp status, she said, if you cannot sell on Facebook, use your WhatsApp status, because there's loads of money waiting for you to just rake it in. That she said, as in just, so you have just, what's that word now? That's just exactly what you've just described. You're selling whatever it is you're selling. Use the tools that are available to you. If you cannot if you cannot dance on TikTok, don't just do what it is that you can. So we have to go on a quick commercial break. Remember, it's International Day for Girls in ICT today, and the theme for this year is digital skills for life. I know you know one girl in your neighborhood, whether she's your sister, she's your cousin, or she's just in your area. I know she's quite good and she'll need information like this. So just send in your messages, learn as much as you can so that you can go and you can go back and tell her about it to inspire her to, work towards the future in ICT. Ruth, we have to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up our conversation because you have been such a phenomenal guest.
Thank you.
93.7 Citizen FM. Let's talk about it on our favorite radio station. We're more than just a radio station. We are a part of your life.
This call to prayer is sponsored by the Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح
La ilaha illallah.
We teach girls shame. Close your legs, cover yourself. We make them feel as though by being born female, they're already guilty of something.
So I think right now we have the chance to be heard, and that's why we're doing it. We're all doing it because we're asking to try and elicit change.
No woman should sit down and allow a man to speak about her reproductive rights.
But it is about opening spaces for other women and not to be seen as token, and that because I'm a woman, I'm only speaking about women at the table. No, I'm speaking about side of the table that is empty and the women have to be there. So
I want us to leave this world better than we found it. And how I choose to affect change is by speaking up, by being the first, and by being the dominant.
Over 4 billion of the world's population are girls and women, also faced with challenges that affect our world and contributing solutions to them. Let's have conversations and get some answers to them through their eyes and voices. Tune in to Perspectives, where we discuss important issues ranging from climate change, politics, health, the economy, and lifestyle on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Weekdays from midday. Perspectives. Conversations that matter.
Welcome back. You are still tuning in and listening to Perspectives here on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Thank you so much, Ruth, for staying on with us today. I really appreciate your input. You've been so phenomenal. So, I was going to ask you something earlier on. I found, Confidence Stavely. I found her, and it was while you were speaking earlier on. You mentioned that you mentioned about a partnership. I can't remember the name of the organization you mentioned. I didn't quite catch that, but I wanted to ask. You said you said something about it being at the state at the State House of Assembly, or was it the National Assembly? You said I can't remember what policy you were talking about, but what policy is in place to support the advancement of girls in tech, such that we don't wait for the likes of the Confidence Stavely, Funke Okpeke, who are very few and far between. How can we centralize this idea and help governments see the importance and focus on promoting gender equality in the tech sector especially, and of course across board? So what policies can we push, and how can we go about it?
Okay, thank you very much. I was talking about the Startup Act. Yeah. The Startup Act is actually an act that has been signed. It's a bill that has been signed into law at the national level. But it will have to be domesticated at the state level to become a law applicable within a state that are willing to domesticate that.
Yeah.
And I was going through the provision of the Startup Act, and I discovered that it makes special provision for supporting women's startups.
Yeah.
Startups that promote women inclusion. So if that is being domesticated at the state level, I think it's something that can support women who have ideas that will include other women when it comes to IT. So I think it's a good one. Apart from that, there's actually in Plateau State, I just saw that there's a project that has been ongoing. They call it Agile.
Say that again.
Is it Agile? Agile?
Okay.
Agile. I don't really know. It's actually a project that supports girls' education.
Okay.
And they also lay emphasis. It's a state government. It's a government project, and it lay emphasis on STEM education for women and girls at the secondary school level. So if we have such projects coming from the government, I think it can help in bridging some of the gap. And personally, I have discovered that when we are thinking about empowering young women with tech skills, if there is no access, if they don't really understand the need for them to believe they can be able to strive in sciences, even if you empower them, that that imposter syndrome or that low self-esteem will affect their productivity, even when they get the skills. So that's why advocating is another thing. Empowering them with the knowledge to understand that they can actually do this regardless of the agenda is another thing. So all of this put together can help us to bridge the gender gap that is currently existing in the world of science and technology.
Thank you so much. So I guess you've answered the next thing I was going to talk about, collaboration and partnerships. You know, how different organizations are working to support the advancement of girls in tech in Nigeria. You know, and of course, I know there are tons and tons of partnership between the government, the private sector, non-profits, you know, making a difference. Yeah. But is there one particular one that you like, you know, the way they're working around things?
Yes, I actually run an NGO. I have an NGO, and one of the things we've been doing is to promote quality access to quality, innovative, and digital education in Africa. And because I'm passionate about the girl child, most of our project has been girl-centered.
Yeah.
So, and over time, we've been able to collaborate with the Ministry of Education here in Plateau State to be able to implement some of our community development-based projects. So, if we have organizations like mine who are passionate about quality, innovative, and digital education, I think it will go a long way in bridging the gap.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, I like that when we're having the conversations around women inclusion and stuff, women were doing things for ourselves, yes, but I also think it's important to bring the men into the conversation as well, because these men are our brothers, they are our husbands. Do you understand? So do you think, have men in the tech space, have they been supportive? Because it often seems like these women are the ones that hold their hands and say, you know what, don't let go of the cycle. You know, are there men that are doing the right thing? You know what I mean? You know, giving access. Are there men like that in this tech space in Nigeria that you think we should commend? Because we should commend them on days like this.
Yes, there are men. I don't think there's any time that we're going to be having this gender inclusion conversation
that will not
men have never been part of it. Because without the support of the men who are currently occupying some of the key positions, we won't be able to drive this conversation without them.
True.
So men has been doing a lot when it comes to the gender inclusion, especially in the ICT space. I can't categorically mention some people, but I know that I have had conversation with quite a number of them. Yeah, I can mention one. There's actually an agency in Plateau State called PICTDA. PICTDA is in charge of all the innovation and technology, anything that has to do with tech in Plateau State. And the director general of that particular agency is a young man.
Yes.
And he is deliberately involving girls when it comes to accessing digital skills in some of the fellowships they've been having. They call it Court Plateau.
Okay.
They have a percentage of women that must be part of the cohort, in every of the cohorts. And they've had like 5 different cohorts already. So these are men that are pushing our cause. We can't say that it's we, the women, that has been doing this on our own without the support of the men. So men have been supporting us, and we appreciate them so much.
So actually then like we started off the show saying a lot of progress has been made. I think it's actually, we don't realize how much progress has been until you break it down like this, because when you talk about role models, you talk policies, collaboration, and partnership, which are the important, things to highlight on to actually get us to the next level. We are taking the big and giant steps. One thing you've impressed me on is the fact that as much as everybody looks at Lagos, like I have a friend now, you mentioned 5 cohorts, right? I have a friend who started last year. He has an organization called Young Women in IT. And in fact, their 3rd cohort actually is holding this Saturday, where they're giving free tech skills to girls in Ikorodu, Lagos, because I guess they picked Ikorodu. Maybe it's rural, yes, but as compared to Ikeja or Lekki or any other part of Lagos, and because it's very far away, those girls living in Ikorodu they might never even get the opportunity. So I like that everybody is I like that you mentioned Joss, and you can actually give me 5, off the top of your head, you can call like 5 different people doing something in tech space for girls. I'm saying this because everybody is always looking at Lagos.
Actually been driving the tech conversation in this
in
part
Plateau
of the world.
State. I'm impressed, honestly. So if we don't have conversations like this, you won't know. Everybody focuses on Abuja, focuses on Lagos. So, but so well done to you and your team. I look forward to coming to just one of these days. I look forward to catching up with you and just what's that word now? Just really seeing how much work that you people have done. My kind regards to Langdon. I finally got my 50 books. I don't know if he's still doing Yes, I got 50 books for 10,000 naira. I honestly found them on Facebook. And since then I've been so impressed. So a lot of great things are coming out from Just. You are one of those proud people that I'm proud of. Honestly, I say it as often. Honestly, well done to you. I wish you biggest success. Honestly, of your greatness there shall be no end, Ruth. I'm really proud of you. Well done. So whenever you're in Abuja, you have any events, you have someone, I am available for you. Just let me know. Even from here to the job, anything you want me to do, I surrender myself. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this today.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, Ruth.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
So, Deborah, are you changing your mind? Criminology? You're not changing your mind? Why not?
No, I am not. I personally also like criminology.
Really?
I really love it. Yes, I do. I found very young that I love mysteries. I love mysteries.
Nancy Drew, famous spy.
Yeah, in fact, a book idea came yesterday because I'm a writer. I write
Christy Agatha Christie,
one of the best.
Yes.
Murder on the Orient Express is like a Bible for me. You go back and forth reading it.
I can't remember I've read tons and tons and tons of it. Okay. I'm trying to encourage more young people to read nowadays. Leave TikTok and Instagram.
No, like you can leave me with as long as it's a good book.
Yes.
I love storyline. I like plot. I can stay there for days, months reading.
Honestly,
than to be on TikTok or any other place. I mean, TikTok is fun, but
not
it doesn't give you the joy of reading.
Are you sure you are Gen Alpha? Are you sure because you sound like our generation?
Yeah, I actually find that I have like an older spirit. I'm somebody who likes to. I miss an era that I never was even part of. This morning I even posted this throwback pictures of people, certain celebrities when they were in the 90s, and somebody was like, "You are here now. Forget that." And I was like, "I'm missing something I was never even part of." I just love things that happened in the past. I love history. I love old things.
So hold that thought. We're going to talk about it some more before we wrap up the show. I want to take up the news on the hour. So just stay with us. We'll be right back.
For child's play. So I say
93.7 Citizen FM.
Let's talk about it on our favorite radio station.
We're more than just a radio station. We are a part of your life.
This is 93.7 Citizen FM, Abuja.
The time is 1:00.
Time for news on the hour.
It's 1:00. Good afternoon. You're listening to the news on the hour here on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. The federal government Wednesday approved a total sum of 52.9 billion naira for various projects in the Ministry of Education, Works and Housing and Aviation. The respective ministers revealed this to State House correspondents at the week's Federal Executive Council meeting, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari at the council chambers of the Aso Rock Villa. They include the completion of Phase 2 of the 2.6-kilometer long Uto Bridge in Ikenke, Delta State, the National Library of Nigeria headquarters building complex in Abuja, and the procurement and installation of radar signaling equipment in 9 airports nationwide. In accordance with the provisions of the ratified International Labour Organization ILO Convention 190, the federal government must adopt gender-responsive approaches to governance, service delivery, education, healthcare, housing, and all developmental issues. This is one of the calls made by the Nigeria Labour Congress in Abuja at the Gender Equality Dialogue, an event organized by the Congress National Women's Commission in collaboration with the Friedrich Ebert Stiftung to raise awareness about the importance of embracing equity in the workplace. National President of the NLC, Comrade Joe Ajero, used the occasion to call on the federal government, employers and trade unions to adopt strategies for the implementation of the ratified ILO Convention for realization and protection of women's rights, increased productivity and equality. The Athletics Federation of Nigeria has named 42 athletes to compete for honors at the combined 4th African Under-18 Championship and the 15th African Under-20 Championships, scheduled to start this weekend in Ndola, Zambia. The list is made up of 23 under-18 girls and boys, as well as 19 under-20 men and women. Nigeria under-20s women record holder Tima Godbless is spearheading Nigeria's challenge for podium places in the under-20 category, while the National Sports Festival 100 meters and 200 meters silver medalist Faith Okwose tops the list for the 23 under-18 athletes listed for the championships. Other people listed are the Ewa Peace, Eyapoya, Justina Tiana, Saibu Yetunde Olayinka, Israel Okon Sunday, Monday Buka, Francis James, Justin Osigwe, Abuje Chinedu, and Jimo Justin. And that's the Citizen FM News on the Hour. Thanks for listening. Good afternoon. Alrighty, welcome back and thanks for staying with us. It's just Deborah and I in the studio right now, and we got a message which I wish Ruth were here to hear, but I can pass it on to her. This message is from Patrick in New Cairo. He says, "Good afternoon. Did you know globally women hold only 2 in every 10 information and communication technology jobs, and only 1 in 4 leadership positions at the 20 largest technology companies? Did you know?" He said, "I just came across this fact and I wonder how many ladies work in tech companies in Nigeria. If globally only 2 out of 10 get opportunities to work for big tech companies, there is no doubt that ladies can do wonders in the tech industry if given the chance. More advocacy is needed. Tech company owners should employ more ladies. Parents should encourage their girl child to embrace everything about tech with their full chest. Men should not be the only one cashing out from the world of tech. Finally, government should create a platform where ladies who have great tech ideas get all the support they need." So pretty much roots us. I think we highlighted that on the show today as well, that it's a very minute number of women, and there's a lot of stigmatization, there's a lot of stereotyping, but we're waking up to it. And then to say that also, just before Ruth signed off, she said something about the man in Plateau State that gives preference to girls. And I notice a lot of people are doing that now. If you're giving out 10 positions, they give 5 or they give 6 to girls, and then the remaining. And it's not because what's that word? It's just a way of helping women to boost boost them. So thank you so much for that, Patrick. I hope that you too, you're doing your own small bit. So if you have daughters, encourage them to go and study tech. Yeah, because they own the world. I will never forget Django Girls was what they started in. It was a company in the US, and they picked girls from Ilorin. So I like that they're not that they're abandoning the major cities. The opportunities will always be in the big cities, but I like that you go outside. Go to Jos, go to Ikorodu, Ekpe, go to Ilorin, Oshun. So that way it spreads around. Because if we say we should wait for the federal government, we might be waiting for
a long time.
So I don't even want to go into that too. So yeah, you were saying something just before we wrapped up, and
okay, so I said I love technology because it's very inclusive.
Yeah.
Because before, I've heard about STEM before.
Yeah.
And I recently heard about STEAM, what I was telling you about, which includes the arts. Because people that are part of the arts, the arts sector, they are realizing we all need technology. This isn't just a science person's field or something that only them can do.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you're studying today, technology will play a very big part in it. Whether you're an actor or you're just a graphic artist or you're even if you're just a business owner, everyone is involved in technology.
Yeah.
And I like what she was talking about, like how she was schooling in the village and they were telling them that only girls study this
science course.
I would like to tell you that arts is not easy, even though a lot of people like to.
I didn't want to go there because I wanted to give her moment.
Arts has a stigmatization.
Has been for the less.
And she was saying it too. She actually did say that it's not easy, but people have been told that it's easy. That's why you see more women involved in arts than in science. Meanwhile, their hearts is in science. I have actually come across people that enjoy calculating mathematics. That is terrifying.
Yeah, it is terrifying for me.
It is terrifying.
I cannot calculate. See, I know Pythagoras, I know angle 90, but I can't.
And I see this girl and she's smiling and she's solving mathematics. And I look at her and I'm like, Ngozi, what are you doing? She's like, solving mathematics. And I'm like, you're solving it like you're drawing. And
she has cracked the code. She has obviously cracked the code for math.
This is something, and medicine is her own field.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that I like tech rather because it's very inclusive. It's drawing a lot of people in. I personally, I'll talk about how I use tech now. You were talking about how people should start using their WhatsApp status to sell. It is the trending thing among us, Gen Z, because not many people can afford Facebook ads or Instagram ads.
Absolutely.
But WhatsApp is free, and you will now be able to connect with your friends because my mom likes to say, if your friends won't give you money, who will?
Exactly.
You understand? So if you can start your business with your friends, I personally like to advertise for my friends and things like that, and people come in and they buy. So technology is helping me as a person in my day-to-day run. I can say I'm somebody who is also involved in tech, even if I'm not working in a big tech company. I am still using tech to do a lot of things. So
I like that you broke it down like that, because whenever we use the word tech, you just see people with backpacks, laptops. You think okay, tech, it must be some complete, and then in movies they show you someone tapping on keyboards, doing also. You understand? You don't realize that WhatsApp is tech too. It's 10 years ago we're using BlackBerry, we're doing pom-pom, pressing, and then Facebook came. Even the Facebook before Facebook Marketplace even started was just about 6-7 years ago. So WhatsApp is please, it's a level of tech for some people, and I don't write it off. Actually, I don't write it off. Besides, you will still use that data anyway. You might as well use it for something educational and something that will move your business forward. Honestly, I won't. It's a good time to be alive. I think we have it easier than generations where they had crude methods of doing things. I think we have it quite easy compared to to them. It depends on what it doesn't even matter whatever field you're in. A few days ago, I can't remember, we're having a conversation about music, and how every time I listen to Simi, I can tell because I found out she's the sound engineer on her husband's what they call it. She's one that produces the sound.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
A lot of what's his name? Fowles the bad guy. Simi produced it, so she's very good. And I'm even wondering that. Okay, so she doesn't just sing. And I remember when Simi started, everybody knew her for the tiny voice, not knowing that she was quite good with the
background work.
Yes. So a lot the only bad I feel bad about is I don't get to see people playing instruments anymore, because you can do all of that with technology right now. Just put in one and it creates the sounds for you. So but I can imagine that in every industry tech is the bomb. I say to people who ask me, okay, you studied history, and I say, yeah, and I don't focus on one part of history, but which is what we focus on a lot in Nigeria. We like to talk about political history. They can tell you the first political party in Nigeria. They can tell you who called for independence, but they will not tell you the history of food. They will not tell you the history of medicine in Nigeria. They won't tell you the history of culture, dressing.
Makeup, in fact.
Do you get? We don't talk about that enough. So I wish that there was a way to do. I've talked about it with there was this guest we had. I say, is there a way? Just put it in the make technology and put it in their hands. They will read it. If you put it in a book, you might not catch this generation doing that. Put it in one app. Let them answer questions about and that it will make life a lot better. Anyway, I'm so glad that things turned out like this today. I'm excited. Thank you so much for always contributing, Patrick and Deborah. You were quite just you see your energy just went from like this to like this. Even I had to keep up. So let's make it a date next week Monday. We have got something lined up, and things will resume in full swing. But I have a grouse with some people today. I got to one junction like that and the road is blocked. If you're in central area, it is the Nigerian Army. They are doing the parade of trooping and presentation of colors. So if it's not so important, please don't come this way. Just stay back. It's a little too late. It's 1 p.m. already. But if you're listening to us, don't come. As in, it's blocked from here to Secretariat, Ministry of Finance. You cannot pass that place. So if you have an alternate place to be today, please go and be there. This is my public service announcement with these few words of mine. I have to drop anchor on the show today. Thank you all so much. Let's make the date next week, Monday at 12 noon. Deborah, any last words?
Okay, I would just like to encourage, like you said, a lot of parents need to start engaging their daughters in technology, because we're talking about the girl child today.
Yes.
And allow your daughter to, be an engineer. Don't tell her it's just for her brother or that computers, because I come from a tech-savvy household, so everyone is supposed to understand at least a few things about all these kind of things. So let your children, allow your daughters to get engaged in this thing. Don't tell her it's too hard. Allow her as long as her passion. Even if it's not, introduce her to it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. I was I curated one Ogbonge playlist like that before the show came on, like 30 minutes on. There's a song the song is very old. It's from more than 11 years ago. It's Mo Cheddar. I don't know. You don't know Mo Cheddar. You see? Oh, my God. Anyway, I leave you with Mo Cheddar on the show this afternoon. Thanks for listening. Have yourselves an amazing weekend ahead.